Hello, my friends. It's me, Karen Valentine, and we are back for part 3 of Eagle Girl by MomoGirl. And today I thought that we would do the eagle. So I did a little test run on colors, and so I've got those all pulled out and ready to go. So trying to decide if I want to start with his head or with his feathers back here. So maybe just for kicks and just to get something kind of fun down there, let's go ahead and just do his head. So I'm gonna start with some white, just right in the center here. And then we'll do some Deco Yellow. And some yellow ochre. Cool. Just use my white to blend it out a little bit. Alrighty. Now his head, you know, his head's white. He's a bald eagle, but I still want to, you know, put a little bit of color in there. Let's see, maybe some, I'm going to start with just a little bit of yellow in his eye. And let's go with some 10% warm gray. So even though I'm not one to leave the page uncolored, even if that means coloring it with white. So I'm going to put in some of the gray here where the artist has already provided some shading. And then I'm going to use my white anyway. And it's just, you know, it's just the way I do it, because I don't know why, because I don't like the whole page being colored and covered with the wax and this area not covered. So it's just my own weird thing. I don't know. All right, now I think I want to add a little bit more gray. Do I want warm gray or maybe brown? All right, let's see what the warm gray does right here. Yeah, that'll work. That's brown enough. That's good. All right, let's go on to, let's just do this area here first, I think. I'm gonna put some French gray, 10%, down in the highlighted areas. Some of this I'm not quite sure what it is, if that makes sense, but I think when we get it all done, it'll all look fine. I'm going to put some white on the very tips of these feathers. All right, let's do sepia. I want this to be dark. I'm not sure how to achieve the look that I'm after here. I don't think I want cool gray. French gray? All right, let me just test this before I... Yeah, okay, so that's 50% French gray, just kind of for in here. I know his wings are really dark, so we may just have to build up with some color here to get it the way I want it. So this is sepia again. Well, they are mostly dark, so I'm just going to start filling in. I feel much more comfortable on the other side as far as what I'm doing. I'm not quite sure what to do with the way this has been drawn. Not that there's anything wrong with it, I just don't quite know what to do with it. I may have to add some black. To get it as dark as I think it's supposed to be. I'll just keep going and see. I think I want to add a little, just a little bit of the 10% French just to break up the dark and give it a little lighter color there. Okay. So I did get online and do, look up bald eagles. I always like to use some reference photos when working with, something that I'm not familiar with 100%. It helps to get the colors right, and it helps to, just so you know kind of what you're doing. So nothing wrong with reference photos. Reference photos are important in anytime you're coloring something that you're trying to make look as realistic as possible. If you're doing fantasy, you can be whatever color you want. It doesn't really matter, but I always use them when I'm doing animals and stuff like that because I want them to be, correct. Except in the case of this wing when I have no idea what it's supposed to look like. I think it's like folded. This is the front, and it's it's folded over, and this is this part here is what this part here would be. I don't think it'll matter much after we get all the rest of it done. It won't look as odd as I feel like it looks right now. Okay, black. Well, that's got better. Making it darker definitely made it look more like what I think it's supposed to look like. So I can probably get it darker too by adding another layer of the sepia though. So I think we'll do that as well. All right, back to sepia. Alrighty then. Blender. I do think I'm going to add a little bit more black again. It's just not quite dark enough for me. Maybe right under here. All right, I'm gonna stop there and move over to the other side, I think. All right, we're gonna be using Sepia Dark Umber. I didn't use any dark umber over here. Let me just see what that looks like real quick. It's a warmer brown. Just added some different color dimension in there. Okay. So I don't have an iPad to show you what my inspiration photo was, or I did a search for bald eagle feathers, and they're quite brown and dark. So that's what we're going to do, and we want to keep them nice and dark because then they'll contrast with the light color of her hair. However, almost all of them did have a little bit of light color on the tips. So I'm going to see if adding this white helps to do that. It will also help to differentiate the feathers. So it doesn't look like a big mass of brown. Okay, I'm going to try and remember. In fact, what I'll do is I'll put that in there. And then that way I know that that's as far up as I went with the white. Okay, so for our feathers, we're going to use straight. I'm going to put a little bit of white right here. Just kind of on the tops. I don't know if that's the right thing to do or not, but I'm doing it. Straight feathery strokes coming off the center of the feather. And I did look, and the little I don't know, piece of cartilage, I don't know what that is, but that center of the feather on the bald eagle feathers, it is dark. So that's what we're going to do, is make it dark. And I want to just see if I add some of the dark umber. I like that. And I'm not going to worry about which ones I do. I think I'm just going to pick ones that I feel like doing and then just keep filling in as I go. Let's see, that's the edge of one right there, so I don't want to cover that up. Dark umber. I think for starters, I'm going to use the sepia on the whole feather and then use the dark umber just down the center. Kind of like the way that looked. And I'm going to do a little bit of, all right, sepia. I hope these are going to be defined enough with the white that I put down. Dark umber. I'm not sure what, I mean, I'm sure that that's supposed to be a feather. I just don't like the shape of it. So we're just gonna okay. Sepia. These might be easier to do with a harder pencil. But I'm okay with them. I'm okay with continuing to use what I'm using. If you guys feel like you want something harder, then by all means use a harder pencil. Sepia. Dark umber. I think that they look like they're going to be defined pretty well. And the further we get in, the better I'll know. but I can always go in with, this is French gray 10%. I can always go in with black, you know, up in some of these areas, and that will help to define it even better. So that's probably what we'll do after we get the majority of the feathers done. This is dark, oh yeah, this is Sepia. Black. Dark umber. Okay, let's do black in here. % French gray right there. Sepia. And dark umber. And I'm not you know, this is not going to be perfect and exact. Because the way these are drawn is kind of throwing me a little bit. I'm not sure. I guess that's, some of them are drawn from the side and some of them are drawn from the front. And I just can't quite tell what I'm supposed to do here. Okay, I gotta figure out what I'm doing here. Here's the center of this one. That's the center of that one. That's the center of that one. So what is this that I've done here? That's the two feathers coming together, and it looks weird. Yep, it just looks weird. I don't know. All right, I'm gonna just, I wonder if I should start from the top and work down instead. Okay, I'm just going to do the ones that I'm pretty sure I know what I'm doing on, and 10% French gray. I don't even know if that's necessary. Sepia. And dark umber. All right, let's do this one. Sepia. Dark umber. Okay, I'm gonna put some, I'm gonna go ahead and put some black in here and start defining. Otherwise, I'm going to get so confused. as far as where everything is supposed to be. And that might not even help. Boy, once you start getting the browns all in here and they start all touching each other, it starts to get quite confusing. Like this feather right here, I'm gonna do that and shade, because it just was looking weird. And then here's the edge of this feather. All right, well, at least the dark in here kind of helps to make them, gives them a little bit of dimension, depth. Okay, let's do that one. I think that's going to be the answer, is do the ones that I definitely can tell where their beginning and ending is, and then fill in, because otherwise it's just going to be too confusing. Sepia. Dark umber. Sepia. Dark umber. I mean, really, I suppose when we see, you know, birds flying in the sky and eagles flying in the sky, we see their wing in its entirety. We can't necessarily differentiate every feather, so I'm probably making myself crazy for no reason. Okay, but I do think working and filling in is the best way to go. So sepia. Dark umber. Let's do this one. White. Black. Sepia. And I am going to throw a little bit of that 10% right there, just for giggles, just for the heck of it. All right, now dark umber. I may have to go in here and put black all over everything. I don't know. Let's do this one. Just, it looks like it's a half of a feather, or that we're only seeing one half of it. So we'll do it like that. And then, yeah, it's almost like the feathers, and actually they would be, wouldn't they? They'd be going that way. I might be doing them the wrong, at least not all of them, but I think this is the leading edge of the feather, or the center of the feather. And this is the outer edge of the feather. Again, once we get these all done, I don't think it's going to make a lot of difference. Okay, this, I think, was that. And then this is going to be the edge of the other feather, and this will be white. And then sepia going this way. And dark umber. And then this in here, I'm going to fill in with some dark umber and then some black. Oh. Okay. This one is the edge of a feather. There. This is also going to be the edge of a feather. Now it's starting to make a little bit more sense to me, except that I almost feel like that's just a weird ending for the, that's a weird ending. I wonder if that's part of this feather right here. If it is, then I've done it completely wrong. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna fill this in and then add a little bit of black. And now we'll do that feather that way. So she's got the shading going. Is that going the right way for what I did? It should be going this way. So we're going to ignore. I'm so confused. I guess it doesn't really matter. Really, it doesn't really matter. But doing that. And then dark umber. And if I use white, part of me kind of wants to use white all over these and kind of blend out the edges. I think that's okay. I do think that's okay. Alrighty, let's do how are we going to treat this one? I think we'll treat this one like the side of a feather. And we'll just that might have just become part of that one. Yep, that's how we're gonna do it. You know, stuff like this where you're just not sure what the artist completely, you know, did. You just gotta wing it. Do your best. Haha, wing it. And do your best. I don't think it has to be perfect. All right. But if you work section by section and piece by piece, it starts to build and you start to get the true look of a wing. So I'm pretty happy with that. I do want to see what happens if I blend a little bit. But you want to make sure that if you do this, you're blending each feather by itself so that they don't blend all into each other. Definitely think I'm going to want to come in with more black. But I like it. I'm not at all unhappy, so that's a good thing. All right, let's do some sepia. Part of this is my own goofy adding of feathers, which could be why I'm having a hard time. Sepia. Dark umber. And we're going to just throw some dark umber right in there. That was completely the lazy way of doing that for sure. I totally copped out on that one. But it's, you know, it's a dark feather, so that's okay. I'm good with that. It was one of the or the ones that's not showing up from light. Okay, keep going. We're almost done. What is oh goodness. Okay. I'm debating on what to do here. If I should bring this feather all the way up. I'm going to. That's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to continue this one like it's a really long feather. All the way down like that. And then dark umber. Okay. And in doing that, then that would make this one a full long feather too. I'm just not sure how I want to. I kind of like defining them with my pencil. That works out kind of well. I'm going to need some shading right in here somehow. I'm not sure what that's going to look like yet, but these are all looking like one giant weird. So I want to make this one come on top of this one. So I'm going to take my dark umber, and then I'm going to take my black, shaded. Okay. So I think this is a feather. I still can't quite figure out though why she's got the. Is that right? Yeah, no, she's right. She's right. I don't know what I'm. Yeah. Shut up, Karen. Okay, so is that right? What is the matter with me? A feather. The lines will go up towards the outer edge of the feather. And if the feather is sticking into the bird here, the lines would be going out. They would be going out. So out they go. And if this was drawn and I'm completely misreading it, then I completely apologize for my dumbness and knowing the right thing to do. But that just seems like what should have been happening there. So that's what I did. Maybe that's why I'm having a hard time understanding what the feathers are doing, because in my brain they're going the wrong way. Although this one is right, because this is, so this one would be correct. If this is the stem of the feather, and this is doing this. Okay. Then let's just go ahead and all right. So this one, Sepia. Dark Umber. Some white on the edge. All right, well, we're just gonna I don't even know that that's, see that line right there, I don't think should have been there like that. Well, again, in my head, doesn't mean she drew it wrong, it just means I can't figure out what I'm doing. Dark Umber. Okay, this one is, looks like that one's pretty easy to figure out. We'll do that one. Sepia. Dark Umber. And I think I want to okay, I think we're going to wind up doing some black in here. And let's make this a feather. Sepia. Let's get some black right there. Umber. Okay, there's another feather. Sepia. And dark umber. And this is the edge of the one above it, so I'll shade that a little bit. We'll put some black in here. Okay, this is another feather. And I think I did it wrong. I think I want to make it on top, so I'm gonna erase what I put down there and go like this. And dark umber. And maybe just some white on the outer edge. Okay, just right now I'm going to put some black right in there. Let's do this big feather right here. I think we'll put some, oh, where's my gray? That gray. 10% French gray. Right there in the middle of the feather. Sepia. And dark umber. Just center. And some white on the edge. And a little bit more sepia on the outer edge. Like that. Okay, so let's do some 10. Do I want to do white or 10% French gray? I don't know. I'm going to blend while I ponder that question. Okay, I'm going to put white at the very tip of this one here, and here, and here. We're going to start there. Then I'm going to go sepia. Just and dark umber. Okay, then I think we'll do white right here at the very crest of the wing where it's going to be the brightest. And then just, this is sepia. And at this point, I'm just following the lines that she kind of gave us because I really don't know what the right thing to do here is. And now some dark umber. I probably should be doing it in the stripies. All right, let's put some black on here as well. And here. Here. I'm just using little swirly motions now because I really am just trying to darken what's here. All right, let's do some blending on that. Want to go into where it's white because I really don't want it to be white. I just want it to be quite light. That's better. some black up in here because just because. Do I like that? I think I do. I feel like that needs to actually still be a little bit darker. Like it's like there's too much light. So I'm just gonna see if I can't feather some more brown in here. I've already added the white, so it may not get too dark, but no, it's getting better already. Yeah, it's getting better already. All right. I think it came out pretty good. I'm putting some more black down right behind her head. And maybe all right, I am going to go get my my iPad so that I can compare the what we've done with an actual bald eagle photo and see if there's any alterations that need to be done. Okay, so it looks like the bald eagles are pretty brown. They're not they're not black, so I think that we did okay color-wise. I like how we added the white on the tips of the feathers, or the light color, because I think you can definitely see that that's there. I might add a little bit more amber to the eye so it's not quite so yellow. And I may just come in and add a little bit more black just here and there, but I think we're good. So we'll work on the chick, because the chick won't take very long. So let's do that. So I found this cute little picture of this little bald eagle chick, and so that's what I'm going to use for my inspiration on this little guy. And for that, we're going to use some warm grays and a little French gray and a little bit of white. So first I want to examine what I've got going on here with her hair. I feel like I want to, his head looks pointy, and his head shouldn't be pointy. So let's fix that first. What colors did I use for that? No. Sepia? No. What did I use for her hair? It was so long ago. Hair. Dark brown. Okay. So I'm just going to I'm just gonna put some dark brown right in there so that his head doesn't look so pointy. I think that helped. Okay, I want to start with white on the outer edges because, as you can see, he's very fluffy on the outer edges of his body. So we're going to put white all around his fluffy little self. All right. Then I think we'll take, and we'll just start light and work our way darker and darker, I think. So this is the 10% French. And I'm almost cross hatching because I want his feathers to look a little crazy because they looked a little crazy in the pic. All right, 10% warm gray. Let's see what that does for us. And 50% warm gray. And I'm using a little bit lighter touch now because it's a significantly darker color. And I don't want it to be too harsh. But I think doing these little lines in all kinds of random directions kind of makes him look fluffier. Okay, it's going to be dark down in here. And I think that's good. Let's see, we need our yellow ochre, Deco Yellow, and yellow ochre. And what did I say? I wanted to make the eyes a little bit more amber, although the chick's eyes don't really, they're a lot of, I think that's fine. And do I have anything that I can easily use as, how about burnt ochre? That works. That works. Okay, do I want to do a little bit of blending? Yep, just a little bit. And you know what else I want to do? I want to darken his beak. Let's darken the tip of his beak here. That's better. And his eye. Yep. Yep. All right, guys. I think we are very, very close, if not already done. At this point, it's probably just going to be me adding more black to all kinds of random areas because, you know, I can't leave well enough alone and I have to keep messing with stuff. But maybe just to deepen and darken some of these areas to make it a little bit more defined, but it's pretty good. But I don't know, if you guys are like me, you can fuss and fiddle and finagle with these pages forever. And that would just make for a very long video. So I think I'm going to stop there. Right now it's looking quite neutral because of all the brown, but that's okay because I have something fabulous planned for the background. Oh, look, see? All right, I'm going to work on the rest of these feathers off camera. I think you guys, you know, can manage on your own. These are pretty easy to do, these feathers. And then the eagle will be finished and we will move on to her dress and the background. So thanks for hanging in there with me. We made it in the end. It wasn't too bad, you know, but anytime you do something that you haven't done before, which I have a tendency to like to do on camera, it takes a little bit of, you know, finagling and working it, but I'm happy with the way it came out. So I guess that is all. Thank you so much for watching, staying with me, subscribing, liking, all that good stuff. It's all greatly appreciated. You guys are all the best. Take care of yourselves and each other, and I will see you on the next video. Thanks. Bye.